In the North Valley, the search continues for a 21-year-old Lupita Ontiveros who went missing after a dune buggy crashed into a canal in Merced County. The crash happened around midnight Wednesday at the Delta Mendota Canal near Gustine. Family told us Ontiveros did not know how to swim, but they remain hopeful that she will be found. Action News photojournalist Alex Ruiz shows us how dozens are joining the efforts to reunite the young mother with her toddler.
A young mother has been identified as the woman who went missing after a dune buggy crashed into a canal early Wednesday morning. The family of 21-year-old Lupita Ontiveros says that they have been searching the canal near Los Banos in hopes of finding her. Her uncle telling Action News it is the only thing they can do as they wait desperately for answers.
Gente, en estos momentos nosotros, toda esta gente que está aquí, hay evidencias de que mi hija se encontró su chamarra. Entonces es una luz que ella sigue viva.
All right, so this caption reads, "We are in the lookout for Lupita." The sheriff department said they will not search for her at the moment. The diver offering to help, but the police will not allow him. They said that if he gets into help, they will arrest him. We cannot allow this. Her loved ones are still waiting for her to come home. Please spread awareness. Fugitive TV, we have a 21-year-old woman who's missing out of Stockton, California. Now, what makes this story weird is because she was involved in a dune buggy accident with 3 other people. Right after the accident, the driver fled the scene, and the other people who were with her as well, they all survived, but for some reason, the family did not find out until hours later. I'm talking about a whole bunch of hours later. So, Fugitive TV, stay tuned. Welcome to Fugitive TV. I am your host, Ray Marcel. We take a look at cases of missing people, missing individuals, some cases that haven't been unsolved, or anything that we need to take a look at. And I look at it from a different perspective. I try and give you the raw, unfiltered, uncut versions. I try my best to, okay? And what I'll do is I do deep dive into these cases. I was once a fugitive on the run from the law myself, so I'm able to see certain things maybe that other people don't see because maybe they haven't been through that before. Well, today we're going to take a look at a case of a missing woman, 21 years old. Now, I believe her origins are actually out of Stockton, California. And her name is, so I can make sure I pronounce it right, is Lupita Ontiveros. I believe I'm pronouncing her name right, but Lupita Ontiveros, 21-year-old mother out of Stockton, California, went missing in the early hours of January 28, 2026, after a dune buggy incident near Gustine, California. The buggy crashed into a canal, and despite others escaping, she disappeared in the water. The driver was arrested later on. Now, I'm going to explain exactly what happened, and well, to my knowledge, because none of us were there really, so we really don't know what happened.
It's very, very difficult. It's very difficult, especially my mom. My family is really, we try to be together all the time. And
CHP says the crash happened at about midnight early Wednesday morning along the Delta Mendota Canal near Gustine. The victim's family says authorities told them they are searching for a large area along the canal, saying the current may have carried Ontiveros much farther downstream.
This case is very interesting and weird. Okay, so Lupita was with some friends out dune buggy late in a dune buggy late at night. They were celebrating. Now they said they were out drinking and things like that. Now I guess she's been out with them before. I am not sure, but she was out with, as you see in the picture here, 2 other women. Okay, and there was also a male, and the male was the one who was driving the dune buggy. Well, reports say that he was going too fast, supposedly lost control. The dune buggy crashed into a canal. All of them supposedly went into this canal. All of them got out of the canal except for Lupita. All right.
Yeah, Ontiveros is from Stockton, and her family says they've been driving back and forth from there since yesterday to search this canal. Her uncle telling me it's been incredibly difficult, especially because there are just so many unanswered questions.
Lupita, sal de allí, Lupita.
tears streaming down a mother's face, her heartbreaking cries echoing along the canal where her daughter went missing.
Lupita!
Lupita Ontiveros' family has walked along every inch of this section of canal over the last 2 days, hoping for some sign of the missing woman after a crash in this canal around midnight Wednesday.
When we found this now, this new, it's hard. It's hard.
Ontiveros' uncle telling Action News the family has been traveling back and forth from Stockton to search for any sign of her, while the Merced County Sheriff's Office continues its own search.
The water is very murky, and with that murkiness, the current is very strong, so it makes it very difficult to see anything.
The CHP, which is leading the investigation, says the search has been difficult because there's no way to know where Ontiveros could be.
So Lupita did not make it out of the canal. Far as we know, she went in the canal. We don't know. We don't know. But according to the friends at first, see, there's mixed matching and different reports on this. So I'm going to give you both sides and you guys can decide, what do you think? So one report is saying that the friends ended up going to the hospital by ambulance. All right. Went to the hospital by ambulance. Police went out there and supposedly searched for her, and they could not find her at night, right while the friends are at the hospital. Okay. The Dune Buggy was later recovered later on that evening. Now, this happened around 1 a.m. in the morning. Okay, 1 a.m. in the morning. And the Dune Buggy supposedly was not recovered until 6:30 p.m. So you got a whole day later they recovered the Dune Buggy, right? But could not find her. All right, I'm going to read this report to you that's brought out by people.com, same people as People Magazine, okay? I'm just going to show you, there's an example of media, the news media. Sometimes one news media source will say something different, and then another news media source will say this. And sometimes I wonder, where do they get their information from? Because obviously they're not getting it from the same source. If it's different. So this one right here says, as the search continues for Lupita, who was thrown into the canal earlier this week after her Dune Buggy rolled into the water. A family member says the woman's mother keeps calling out her daughter's name. Then it says, it breaks my heart seeing my aunt crying desperately. Now, if you keep going down, they're going to give you little details, okay? California Highway Patrol said in a statement obtained by People that they received a call shortly after midnight on Wednesday, January 29th. A Dune Buggy had fallen into the Delta Mendota Canal near the State Route 140. One of the main roads leading in Yosemite National Park. The driver, who was, the last name was Miranda, who's 21 years old, was riding along the bank with 3 passengers. Miranda and 2 of the passengers, who have not been publicly identified, were able to swim to the bank and climb out. The 3rd passenger, identified by her relatives as Lupita, went missing in the dark, murky, fast-moving water. Miranda fled the scene, but was later arrested by officers at his home, booked into Merced County Jail, according to the officials, when reached by People. He was booked on arrest on felony hit and run, but did not have any additional information to share. The other 2 passengers were taken by ambulance for moderate injuries. Family members tell People there was another Dune Buggy with a driver and passenger that was not involved, but the 2 people served as witnesses to what happened. Before the crash, Lupita from Stockton had enjoyed a day in the park with her daughter. So that's one article right there. And then it also says she was supposed to come home by 12. And when my aunt didn't hear from her, she got worried. We didn't find out until later what had happened. Then it goes on to say, during their search, while they were like, not the family members, but actually when the police were out searching, during their search, steers say that the officials found the Dune Buggy by about 6:30 that evening. So it's saying the accident happened, well, from reports of the family, they're saying it happened about 1 a.m. Okay. Then they're saying that the Dune Buggy was found from People.com was found at 6:30 that evening. So that would be 6:30 p.m., right? When it did so, they found the seatbelts were unattached, meaning that either the occupants weren't able to unlock them or they were not being used. When we located the vehicle, she was not inside. So obviously she's not on the shore and she's got to be somewhere in the water. But the currents are so strong, it's not safe for divers. So they have to wait until the currents get shut down. The water is running very fast this time of the year because it's being released to irrigate all the surrounding farmland. We can't shut it down unless it's an emergency, they're saying. They're saying unless it's an emergency, so they can't shut it down right now. What makes this very interesting is supposedly the family was not notified whatsoever, okay? You know how long? 15 hours later is what one of the family members are saying. 15 hours later, after the Dune Buggy crashed at 1 a.m., that's when the family was supposedly notified. Now, I'm going to share to you what this person is saying, okay? The family of 21-year-old Lupita, mother to an 18-month-old girl, identified her as the woman who went missing after a dune buggy crashed into the canal Wednesday. The California Highway Patrol said the crash happened around midnight Wednesday at the Delta Mendota Canal. Lupita was allegedly riding in a dune buggy with 3 other occupants who were all reportedly able to exit the canal following the crash. So once the crash happened, they all got out the canal. The driver of the buggy, identified as Miranda, was later arrested after fleeing the scene and failing to report to the crash. So, of course, he got arrested for hit and run like the last person or the last article said. Now, this also says he has been released from custody pending the investigation. So this man did a hit and run and was released. I'm wondering if he was bonded out or was he released on a signature bond, meaning all you have to do is sign for yourself and you promise to show back up in court and then you get released. The other 2 individuals who were with Lupita state that they don't recall what occurred. So they're saying they don't even know what happened. Though Lupita's sister and family have been very vocal online that her family only learned of Lupita's disappearance after the girls went to her home looking for her. Okay, so they're saying they didn't find out until these women, the other 2 girls who were in the accident, went home or to Lupita's house looking for her. Okay. And now in this, they're also saying that both women also failed to report the crash. See, this is the part that doesn't make sense. Now, people is saying that the 2 went to the hospital by ambulance, right? That's what people said. It didn't say, though, that they went to the hospital by ambulance from the crash scene. That they didn't say. So is it possible these 2 females went back home and then went to who knows? But there's pieces missing. Because this right here says that both women also failed to report the crash. The Merced County Sheriff's Office is to continue its own search, using dive teams and patrols around stretches of the canal. Now, this was a first early report because right now they're not searching. They're not doing it. The mom's out begging for help, for people to help her. Okay. It does say that she could have been carried far away, which makes it difficult. Authorities with agencies involved in the search said they won't stop looking, but there's no telling when or if she'll be found. And the family's saying, or I should say, people who are claiming to be the family, they're saying that the only reason why they knew is because 2 of the females, there was 2 females with Lupita, who's supposed to be her friends, came to Lupita's house or her family's house looking for her the next day. Like, I guess, is Lupita here? So I find it kind of, there's a gray area. There's a big gray area. Something's missing. Something's not adding up. Now, there was also a screenshot that was taken because people are coming out basically saying now, this is what people are saying. They're saying that the friends had something to do with it. Lupita, these are allegations that are being made, right? the friends had something to do with it. Why did they get out the canal but not help their friend Lupita, right? I can say that if the canals, the waters are bad or horrible, things like that, it takes a very strong swimmer. And even the strongest swimmers probably can't survive a lot of these, waters. We can't. We're humans, okay? We get swept away easy. We can't do that. So even the strongest swimmer jumping back in the canal, if it's cold, murky, and very hard, would be very difficult for a person to pull somebody back up. Okay. Now, I get that part. I do understand if they're saying, if their friends are saying, well, we couldn't jump back in because we could. I get it. All right. Now, the one thing I don't get though is why the family was not notified for 15 hours. So the friends are getting ridiculed online. All their social media accounts went private, okay? Every single one of them went private. The two female friends who were with Lupita said all private. But one of them supposed to be called 911 and they shared a screenshot of the 911 call to try and back up their story, okay? And in the screenshot of the 911 call, the first thing I noticed is the time of the call is at 11:54 p.m. So if the crash happened at 1 a.m., that's what they're saying the crash happened at. That means that's an hour and 6 minutes that they call 911 before it happened. And a lot of people are that was the first thing I saw was the time. A lot of people picked up though on the time or how long the call was made. It was only a 2-minute call, 2 minutes. I haven't called 911 in a long time. I don't even remember if last time I called. I don't remember. I really don't. For anybody who's out there who's called 911, have you ever been on a call with 911 just for 2 minutes? Because a lot of people are saying if you're on the phone with 911, it's usually longer than a 2-minute call because they're asking you so much information. What's your name? Where did this happen? Exactly what happened? Who are you with? What's their names? Maybe date of births. If anybody's alive, are they not breathing? Do you see any bodies? So a lot of people are saying they ask you a lot more questions. And because of that, the phone call should have been more than 2 minutes. Like I said, I don't remember if I even ever called 911. I don't know. But you guys let me know. If you have called 911, is the call usually longer than 2 minutes? Now, if you do call 911, or let's say they didn't call 911, let's say whoever shared the screenshot, whoever the screenshot's from the phone, they could have called a friend and maybe switched it. Let's say they called John and then go into the contacts and change John to 911 maybe. I have no idea. Okay. Is that possible? And then they take a screenshot of that and share it. Now, I'm not saying that's what they did, but I'm just giving you all theories out there and everything. Now, in the very beginning of the video, I told you there was a driver. He fled the scene. So the driver, I believe his name was Miranda. Last name was Miranda, I believe. He took off. He got out the buggy and took off and left. Supposedly, he got arrested at home for hit and run. And now, far as I know, he's also released. So I don't know if it's on bond or signature bond, which is you don't even pay a bond. They're just letting you out with a promise to come back to court. But he went to jail for hit and run and is already out. So I don't get that part. Now, the sad thing about this situation is the mom is out there begging for people to come and help because police are not out there helping. Police are not out there helping at the moment, okay?
Lupita Ontiveros' family has now gathered search parties. So if you want to go follow her uncle, this is the FB page. He's gathering groups to go out there and look for her because they're not getting much help from law enforcement. As like I mentioned yesterday, they're not stopping the water because it can only happen during an emergency. And right now, the ones that can usually help are not in town, and they have been prohibited to go in the canal as well because they also had, divers that can go in there, and they were told no.
So you guys that's never been to California or don't know the area, this red dot is where she went missing. Okay. So I grew up down here in Los Angeles, California. All right. So she's up here, which is right before you get to San Francisco. So she's about, I would say maybe six, or that's about a 6 hour drive, maybe seven, somewhere around there. This is where she went missing. So you guys can see it's off of I-5. And then there's the canal. So let's take a look at the street. All right. Or I should say road. So this is the road. Okay. And as you see, there's literally nothing here. Okay. Not a lot here whatsoever. Now, if I zoom back out, if I get back out of here. All right. So as you see, this is the canal right here. So you can get a better look at it. All right. And this water, this canal stretches. Let's go back to this scene so you can see the little blue line. That canal stretches far. All right. I don't know exactly how far it could stretch, but it stretches really far, and it's there to help with the farming that's out there, because there's a lot of farming. I mean, you can take the canal, even goes way down. Oh man, it goes really far. I mean, I'm still even looking, and yeah, this canal goes really, really far. Now, I don't know how far down it does go or far up, but it's a long stretch of water. So I wanted to read the law on entering the canal, since people were telling me who are close to the situation that they're ready to go in the water, but they're not allowed to, or they'll get arrested. It says entering canal waters in California is generally illegal and unsafe, often resulting in trespassing on property owned by the water districts or agency. Okay. So it looks like it could be public, property owned by a water district. So private property, pretty much, right? While California law protects public access to navigatable waters, man-made canals, especially those used for irrigation or infrastructure, are typically off limits, dangerous, and posted as no trespassing. All right. Legal status. Many canals are owned by irrigation districts or private entities, making entry a trespass violation. So it looks like the private entity who owns the canal, is the one that they can pretty much file the charges they want to, because it's a private entity that owns it. It'd be like just like a business. You own a business or you work at a business and somebody trespasses, then that business can, press charges on you for trespassing. So I was curious of actually who owns the canal. The canal is called the Delta Mendota Canal. It's owned by the United States Bureau of Reclamation as a part of the Central Valley Project, while federal ownership remains with the Bureau of Reclamation. The San Luis and Delta Mendota Water Authority has been responsible for the operation and maintenance of the canal since 1993. Now, the canal, remember I told you how long it is? The canal is 117 miles long. It conveys water from Sacramento, San Joaquin River Delta to the Mendota Pool for irrigation and municipal use.
They also say the driver left the scene and was later arrested,
which has made the search that much harder.
And it takes many more hours just to find exactly where or what happened. And it's just more resources we got to use.
Authorities saying they won't give up, but there's no telling when or if Ontiveros will be found. Her family saying not knowing is the worst part.
It's just, I feel frustrated because I would like to know anything, you know? I mean, find something.
We also saw a young man here flying a drone over this canal. He says his younger sister knows Ontiveros and he just wanted to help.
Now, like I told you, I'm going to give you both sides. So this is what one of the brothers says, the brother of one of the passengers. So one of the girls that was in the buggy with Lupita, one of the brothers says, "This is my sister's friend. They were all in the car and thank God my sister made it out alive. I pray for the lady's family, but they are blaming this on us for not helping her, which is screwed up because they were all struggling to survive. It's nobody's fault. It was a horrible situation." Okay. Then they go on to say, because they're being ridiculed, all right? So one person says, yeah, and not calling for help crazy and effed up. Then they reply back with, they did call for help. How did you think they ended up in a hospital? Or did that part get left out? Now, I told you the mom's out there begging for help, right? I spoke with a lady, and she is a husband of a diver who offered his services to go into the canal and help. Look, she says they wouldn't let my husband get in the water. He's a recovery diver and he is willing to get in the canal. The issue though is the police are saying they're going to arrest anybody that jumps in the canal. You're going to jail. So it's against the law to jump in the canal. They're also saying they only, because the canal's like on, so it's murky waters, and they say they're only allowed to turn the canal off in an emergency situation. So this right here, Lupita's situation, I guess, is not an emergency enough. Okay, so one life is not a strong enough emergency for them to turn the water off, I guess, for a couple hours, few hours to try and look for her. They said they have to wait for the waters to calm down. Now, the one strange thing, the last update I seen, okay, and I believe this is from, I don't know if it was from today or yesterday, but when they were out searching for her, the family members and friends and volunteers, because police, I guess, aren't helping right now, they found her jacket that she was wearing and her glasses. Now, I don't know if these are reading glasses or the goggles that she's wearing in the picture. So that part I don't know. They did not find these items in the canal or water. They actually said they found them in an open field. An open field. Okay. We're going to take a look at this canal with the field because I'm wondering, was the jacket and glasses, how close was it to the canal? And not only that, the glasses I could see, let's say they never said if the buggy flipped, they never said all this, right? So let's say, for example, if the buggy flipped a bunch of times, I could see the glasses flying off. But how does a jacket fly off? That part I don't know. I mean, I guess it can, but I think it'd be very hard, right? So I'm interested to know exactly where the glasses and the jacket was found. How close to the canal? Because if it's far away from the canal, I don't know, something's fishy. But I'm interested to find that out. Now, I'm going to read to you a post too that's by one of the family members of Lupita. It's like I said, I'm going to let you hear both sides and you guys decide. I mean, what do you guys think so far? On January 28th at approximately 1 a.m. at 3347 Gravel Road, Gustine, California, Lupita was riding a dune buggy with 3 other individuals when the vehicle allegedly entered the Delta Mendota Canal. It has been reported that all 3 other occupants were able to exit the canal, while Lupita did not. The driver of the dune buggy has been identified as Miranda. His name is Miranda. He has his first name. I can't pronounce it. I'm not going to try. Who allegedly fled the scene. Following the incident, he was later taken into custody and has since been released To the date, the family has not received clear, consistent, or complete information regarding the events that led to Lupita being left behind in the canal. The two other individuals who were present with Lupita have stated that they do not recall what occurred despite these statements. So right now, the two other people are saying they don't remember, they don't recall, they don't know nothing. Is what they're saying, okay? Lupita remains missing, and no credible explanation has been provided as to why immediate assistance was not rendered. So they're saying immediate assistance was not there. Remember, I read to you what the brother of one of the girls said. He was like, how do you think they went to the hospital? And in the people, it says they went to hospital by ambulance. So this is the part that's not making sense. It's not. This case remains unresolved. Lupita's family continues to seek answers, accountability, and justice for Lupita, and leaves behind an 18-month-old daughter who is now growing up without her mother. The family believes that someone has information that could help clarify the occurred during or that what happened the early morning hours of January 28th. Silence only delays justice. So basically, they're saying that, and remember I told you, these friends or whatever, all the friends pretty much went private, took down their social media. Now, I'm not saying that's guilt. They could be getting ridiculed left and right. But still, if you're innocent in the matter and this is truly your friend, why don't you say something, right? This reminds me of Brianna Aguilera out of Texas. Brianna Aguilera out of Texas was the one that they found on the ground, 17 stories from the balcony, they said that she jumped from. And remember, she was in an apartment with her friends. Now her mom has the lawyer and they're suing everybody and their mom because they feel that the police didn't do a proper investigation, and because the police walked over there right away, labeled it a self-unaliving, that she did it to herself. But there's evidence of somebody who was living next door, okay, said they heard arguing. And not just her, the girl, the neighbor's mom and dad was there, I guess, visiting or something like that. And they heard the arguing too. And there was somebody walking down below the street, they heard arguing. So they are getting blamed for not proper investigating. And she was with her friends as well. So I'm wondering if this could be the same situation. Did something happen to her beforehand, maybe? That's what some allegations are saying. Now, we don't know if this is true or not, but did something happen to her before maybe they went into the canal and this was kind of like a cover up? Or did something really happen where he just lost control? She went to the canal and she got swept away, unfortunately, because we don't know where she's at. She could still be alive. We don't know. And let's say the driver got scared and he just took off, But if it's an accident, truly an accident, why are you going to take off in the first place? What are you scared of? Did you have anything on yourself? I read reports that they were drinking, but they're all over 21 that I know of, unless one of them is younger than that. You guys let me know if you know these people. Did they have weapons on them? Was there any drugs involved? Was one of them illegal? There's a reason why the driver took off. Was he just scared? And he took off. How did he take off? I showed you guys this area. How did he get back home if he fled the scene? In that article I showed you, it said there was another buggy with them. So did he jump into the other buggy and they brought him back home? Did they all jump into that other buggy and they all went back home? Or maybe drop some of them off somewhere else and that's where the ambulance really picked them up? 911 calls can be made public, so I'm interested to find out the actual 911 call, if there was one made. Somebody has access to that, hey, send it my way. Go ahead. My information is always going to be in the description box. If sometimes I forget to do it, you'll see in the other videos, okay? My information and contact information is always there. But I'm interested to know if that 911 call that we talked about earlier, if it was real, fake, who was it to? And if there is a 911 call, and why the family was not notified until 15 hours later, until they go over to the house trying to look and find, hey, is Lupita here? You guys let me know what you think. Like I said, I gave you kind of both sides from what I can find on the other side. On the other side, everybody's going private and taking out of social media. They're not really saying too much. Like I said, it reminds me of the Brianna situation or all over again. But you guys let me know. Do you think somebody's responsible for this? Well, we all know the driver. We all know the driver. Should he be getting charged more than just hit and run if they find her unalived? Do you think if all of them left, should all of them get charged? You guys let me know below. Please like and subscribe. Share this video, okay? Share it with other content creators. Let this word get out about Lupita, because I don't see anybody on YouTube really talking about this. It's on TikTok, but I really don't see YouTube talking about this too much, besides maybe a couple news stations, and that is all, okay? And I am here to cover these stories that a lot of other people are not covering, because I want to make people aware of all these situations, all these missing people, if justice needs to be served, whatever it is. So please like, subscribe, and share. If you're returning to this channel, thank you so much. We're almost at 20,000 subscribers within the last 7 months. It is great and unbelievable, okay? Fugitive TV merch down below, plus the Ray Marcel collection, okay? Please, you've been helping this channel blow up a lot. Fugitive TV, please take care of one another. I'll be dropping a video again, most likely tonight, all right? Take care of one another. Like and subscribe. I'm out.